legal scandal the Lamont administration is dealing with, the concerns in FBI investigations, the accusations of contract steering in the state budget office on school construction work by a former top Lamont official. Well, GOP now ratcheting up the pressure on all of this, and joining me to talk about this is Danny Harr, columnist and associate editor with the Hearst, Connecticut media. Good morning, Danny.
Good morning. Great to be here. Absolutely.
So, Danny, you've been reporting on this. Let's start right there with the House Republicans who called for an investigation of the school construction issue last Thursday. What might they find, and how will that all work, Danny?
Well, the legislature does not have, to my knowledge, there hasn't been a program review and investigations committee operating in some years, a few years now, but they do not have the ability to go into people's bank records and subpoena emails between private parties. That's what it takes to get at any malfeasance that might have been happening in this alleged bid steering. What they are going to find is what we already will know by the time they even start in the hearings, which is that there were not clear lines of communication, there were not clear policies. For example, the school construction office didn't control who contracted what on the list of contractors who did demolition. That went to another office, the procurement office. Now, we already have auditors independently hired by DAS. We have the state auditors. We have the federal investigation. We have the Twardy investigation. So to say this is pure politics is an understatement. But nonetheless, it's worth doing, and the governor has no problem with it.
So, Danny, we've been hearing a lot this week from you and the CT Mirror about the pre-approved list of hazardous materials abatement and demolition contractors and how much they got under DeMontis. What can you tell us about that and where it fits into the big picture, and why should we care?
Yeah, in some sense, this is the list of, between 2016 and last week, there was a list of 4 companies. Some people say there is no list, it's just a contract with 4 companies. And they have prior authorization, or not prior approval to bid on projects or to contract on projects for hazardous waste removal and demolition. Was work steered to favored companies on that list, especially one called AAIS in West Haven? They got the lion's share of the work. Was there steering? We have some allegations of that. We have no evidence of any malfeasance, any kickbacks, any corruption. We just see that a company got a lot of work, so it's worth looking into. The deeper issue is, broadly, it's possible that we're going to find that the school construction office was steering work not just there, but in broad general construction and especially in construction management. So it's part of the piece, but it's a key part of the piece.
So, Danny, so what's so unusual about this crisis that we haven't seen in prior government tempests? What do you think?
I have not covered a huge number of investigations, but I certainly have done enough, and I've never seen the main target of an active federal investigation talking, and not just talking, but going on and talking. You pick up the phone and dial 1-800-COSTA-DIAMANTIS, and he'll talk to you, and he'll defend what he did, and he'll say there's nothing wrong, and he'll go through processes with us on the record, not off the record. I've never seen, I don't know what his lawyer, Norm Pattis, is thinking, and nobody else I talk to does, but what an unusual situation. And by the way, that cuts into the investigation that the legislature would do, because by the time they start working, let alone finish, a lot is going to have already come out.
So, Danny, really quick, give me what you see as a pattern emerging in this election year legislative session.
Yeah, I was talking to my colleague, Ken Dixon, and he says to me, he says, you know, it's all about the kids. And he's right. And consequently, he wrote a column or a story, which we've seen now, and it says that you've got criminal justice issues, you've got mask issues, you've especially mental health issues, you've got sports issues with the safety, and it's all coming down to let's take care of the kids coming out of COVID.
And Danny, should we retire number 21 from the Yankees, Paul O'Neill? Come on, what do you think, huh?
Absolutely retire the number. That's going to leave 10 numbers between 1 and 25 left. That's plenty of people. You can field a team with the 10 numbers left. On water coolers alone, on-base percentage of hitting water coolers, he ought to be retired. I mean, come on. This is a colorful character, and he had great numbers.
Hall of Fame? Hall of Fame?
No, even Dwight Evans, whose numbers are better, is not Hall of Fame.
All right, Danny. Danny Harr from Hearst, Connecticut newspaper. Thanks for joining us. Next up on Cap Report, what did we learn from a special election last week in the Connecticut House? Quite a bit, my friends, quite a bit. We'll discuss that when we get back. Don't go away.